Lost Comic-Con, Star Trek, Space Law, and a sale. Trekland Tuesdays live with me, Dr. Trek, Larry Nemecek. Here's the sign to prove it. There's the mic out of the way. Another Tuesday for the big picture with clarity and sanity in things Star Trek. Hey, everybody. In fact, if you're watching your calendars, you know this is a Trekland third Tuesday. Usually we have a 24-hour special. Guess what? This week, the special, our hot deal in Trekland, is going through Sunday because it's bigger than me, including all of our Patreons, our TTLers, and our Livewire Club. I'll thank them also a little later. If you're new, though, pull up a chair. I'm glad you're here. Pull up an iPhone case. We got a lot to do today. I'm going to kind of shoehorn some things together, some thoughts, some events, something coming up, and something very cool in Trekland. I'm going to try to share all of that today. But yes, Lost Comic-Con, Star Trek Space Law, and a sale is the topic today. And I say that because, yeah, this would be the weekend of San Diego Comic-Con. If you just say Comic-Con and you kind of drop the placeholder, you don't say New York, or you don't say El Paso, you don't say Emerald City, it's kind of assumed that you're talking about the granddaddy of them all, Comic-Con, San Diego, which I still call hashtag SDCC, but is technically Comic-Con International. 150, 180,000 fans, dealers, media, mainstream media, global mainstream media. It's become, you know, like the con of CANNES, the can of pop culture that way. Sci-fi, comics, horror, fantasy, genre, whatever that means. And it's become a big mess lately. I think now I didn't go until Star Trek was done, and I had 1 or 2 years before what the pivot year was. Now they look back and say was Twilight, when it went absolutely crazy, when we definitely left behind the old guys thumbing through dusty books of comics, boxes of comics, and it became a media thing and Hollywood got involved. And 3 hours down the road from LA is far enough to be a vacation, but not far enough that you can't get up early in the morning, limo down, and be limoed back to go promote your movie and TV show and not have to deal with hotels and the mob and the gas lamp. It's awfully awesome. And I do miss it. My gang, thank you, my good friend Lee and his gang got me going about 2006 or 7 after Star Trek blew up and we were trying to figure out what to do with the fallow years. And since then, I've started to have panels, do a temp table in the sales signing, and enjoy the ambivalence of that without the ambiance of that with but having a battle plan, which I'd have to recommend. Lately, it's gotten so insane to get tickets. Having a panel is a great way to get in with tickets. Yada, yada. I say that I miss it because, emotionally, it's Star Trek Vegas, and we miss that. But it's sneaked up on me how much I'm missing big-time Comic-Con, which it should, because, look, we've all missed our conventions in the last year. The last convention I was at live was Gallifrey 1, the LA Doctor Who, and etc. Con, because it's local, in February 2020. Have not done, have not been, have not seen. Now, I know cons have been back, hopefully being as cautious as they can. People, it's not just about making money. People have incomes. It's actors, it's the vendors, it's the con promoters. And, even if you've got a nonprofit, you don't want it to atrophy. There are maybe some recurring costs you have to pay for. Your website, your tech people, your infrastructure. So it's been a rough year. People, of course, want to get back as soon as they can. And now we're having people getting a little edgy about the Delta variant coming up. And we've got all the low vax states that are helping that happen. So for the second year in a row, a lot of people are missing. I missed 2 years of my SoonerCon, my beloved SoonerCon back home. All my homies put on every year. You've got your own local Comic-Con, your own local convention. Maybe it's an old school LitCon. Whatever it is, of course you missed it for at least a year. Baby steps over the last year. Maybe you got to something. Virtual has taken over, has filled in wonderfully, like we were predicting over a year ago. But we're all looking forward to getting back live. And for the second year in a row, Comic-Con months ago made the decision to play it safe with 180,000 people in one compressed area downtown San Diego. Made the decision also to not go a second year, which is tough. They're doing a little 2-day mini thing in November, Thanksgiving weekend. A little controversy because they did not consult with all the actors and their agents and studios, but who didn't necessarily want to give up a Thanksgiving weekend if they weren't used to it. I'm looking at you, Old School Lost Con in LA, and I'm looking at you, Starbase Indy in Indianapolis, who do Thanksgiving post-Thursday convention. But if you're not used to that, if that you're not geared in for that, it was a shock. Apparently that's still going on, but apparently what's really still going on is the second year of Comic-Con at home, which is the virtual edition. Unlike some, there's no live. Everything, because it's so massive and because their reach and brand is so big, they wanted to have control, make sure nothing, even inadvertently, didn't bug out beyond the family scope there, at least unless it could be advertised as such and maybe premiered at night. So this Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday is a whole rollout of virtual panels at Big Daddy San Diego Comic-Con. And a lot of you Trek folk know that Friday is Trek Day. There is peak animation from Paramount Plus. It's an hour. I misread this at first. It's an hour. There are 4 animations. Only the first 2 are Star Trek. So 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. The first 2 15-minute-ish segments are for Prodigy, yay, introducing the voice cast, as well as an update on season 2 of Lower Decks, which is coming in August, right? So that's exciting. Prodigy, we may finally get a premiere date. So yay. This is, virtual fandom the way we've experienced it during the pandemic. This is also going to be a handy tool going forward. We've talked about that. Star Trek's got all these dates in the real calendar. We've talked about it. We got Star Trek Day, the anniversary, right? The birthday, September 8th. We've got First Contact Day. You've got Captain Picard Day. Pick out a day from Star Trek. My God, we can do the Bell Riots, but that would be, we want to do some social justice. Bell Riots getting closer, y'all. All of that is there, but all of that is to say that I do miss Comic-Con. I miss going in with my bunch and going down, my gang, and I miss seeing people in a Comic-Con way that is hectic and shared. Star Trek is just one thin slice of the pie. It's not as thin as it used to be. Not until the 50th was it even registering on the long-range scans, but now it's got a little bit bigger chair at the table. People respect what's going on. You can't fault in the media world, in the corporate world of franchises, you cannot fault the comeback that Star Trek has had. But most of all, I miss meeting new people. I miss having live meetups. I miss being able to get in and tell people about the Trekland way. And Portal 47 and Treks and all of that live. But thankfully, what I don't miss is having something at Comic-Con. Last year, it was great because I brought 3 generations of science advisors for Star Trek together. It's still up. You can go find it. This year, Friday, 6 o'clock. Write this down. This year, we have another panel that's offbeat, but still very cool. Space Law from Sci-Fi to Sci-Fact. Beyond Star Trek Menagerie and The Expanse. 5 folks on this panel that I moderate, some former NASA people who are now in the private industry sector. Space Law. It's not just about Data fighting for his rights. You'd be amazed. Do you know about the Artemis Accords? Do you know about the Outer Space Treaty or the Moon Treaty from the 60s? The Artemis is an updating of that, but it's not through the UN. It's an American-led initiative. Some countries are balking it. Some of it makes total sense, and some are balking at it as an American-led initiative, and sometimes it feels like it's right out of Federation level politics. But that's just one aspect of what's going on. We have space junk. We have competition for resources on the moon, on Mars, on asteroids. Do the space treaties in the 60s need updating? Do they still apply? Are they a foundation? It's really some fascinating stuff. I mean, we're not quite to the point of worrying about citizenship for AI beings, holograms, androids, or others. But it does come up. Now, this panel is not going to be, for the most part, any Hollywood names you recognize. Mike Gold he's Executive Vice President for Civil Space and External Affairs at a company called Redwire Space that is innovating all kinds of things through satellites that build themselves in orbit, the hugest solar arrays in space ever seen, microgravity experimentation for industrial uses, all the things we were supposedly doing experiments aboard Skylab for. Some of this stuff is finally actually starting to happen. He was at NASA before that in space policy and partnerships, and was one of the founding writers of the Artemis Accords. In fact, he led the creation and adoption of those. It's like the early days of The Expanse, really, or going back to Terra Prime days, pre-World War III Star Trek. It's almost in that era. Everybody on this panel, like Mike, is also a geek. That's what makes it better. Did I not mention that? They're not button-up suit types. They're all geeks. They've all got their bits in their office, right? Now, we Zoomed. You could see the Zoom panel. We all had our little at-home placards that I made. Mike is a Trekkie. Now, Teresa Hitchens is the air and space reporter for Breaking Defense magazine. She's an Expanse fan. She just wrote an essay about how not having legal structures around corporate exploitation of space is what led to the conflicts and violence in the Expanse universe, and how we should not follow that. We should not, that should be an alternate universe. We should not do that in real life. She's on the panel. She's not a lawyer per se, but she's covered them for years. Then Jessica Noble is general counsel for a company called Nanoracks, which leads in commercially exploiting low Earth orbit. And she was an advisor on Capitol Hill before that on things related to space. She's a Star Wars person and said her wedding ring had been to space. Daniel Porras is the director of strategic partnerships and communications at Secure World Foundation, which is a nonprofit that advises governments on the long-term sustainability and uses of outer space. He's a non-resident fellow at the UN Institute for Disarmament Research, where he focuses on prevention of an arms race in outer space. I mean, these are incredible people, and he's a Darth Vader fan-ish. Those are incredible people with areas. The biggest common thread among all of them is concern that a lot of these issues aren't really on the radar screen. They're not really on close-range scans of mundanes, of laymen, and that space issues are not far off. They're in our face, and that there's never been more support for space fun storytelling. Oh, did I mention who rounds out our panel? It's a name you may know. Melinda Snodgrass, yeah, who not only wrote The Measure of a Man, Data's Fight for Civil Rights, she not only wrote that, she calls herself a recovering attorney as well, which is what brought so much to that. And she's busy with her own book series right now. She's got 3 series. You know, she worked with George R.R. Martin. She co-created the Wild Cards story universe. Yeah. There's a lot going on in this. I was thrilled to be the moderator for this bunch. We premiere at 6 on Friday. There are like 10 or 12 panels an hour. If you go to the Comic-Con site, if you want to go right to the Star Trek links, LarryNemecek.com, it'll be on the front page. You can get the links for our panel at 6. It will not be up until 6. And it won't be on demand, just being posted for a few days until they run through all the first run of all the shows. My God, it's almost as big as a regular Comic-Con. No huddles in the hall when you get booted from your room so the next panel can come in. But it's awesome. It's awesome. And this was a step adjacent to Star Trek and all the sci-fis, but something very, very Star Trek-ish in that it's something of our time. And we all talked about some of the... I mean, we were laughing about Court Martial, right? And Menagerie and yeah, Data's trial and the Doctor's trial in Author. We had, the trade wars from Star Wars, and The Expanse was front and center, and Firefly came into... So we geeked out while making the point about what's going on. It was a fascinating, a really kind of different change of pace panel. I was thrilled to be asked to moderate it. 6 o'clock Pacific, okay? So 9 Eastern, Friday night. If you need the links, of course you do. You can go to LarryNemecek.com. It's right there on my calendar as well as the blog. Now, there's no way this year to click in and reserve. You can do a Google Calendar reminder on your calendar to get to whatever panel you want to see, ours or any other. There's no click in like the live action equivalent this year. So, oh, look, 97 people have reserved a seat in our room. But you can still set a timer reminder if you go to the Comic-Con page. Link is in my blog and my event calendar, okay? Like conventions all around the country, San Diego Comic-Con is chugging along, filling the gap. Had to make, for its size, it had to make a decision months ago, like so many others did, about what to do this transition summer that we hoped would be about where it is today. Although I'm a tad bit, I've gone up on DEF CON. I'm now back up to DEF CON 4 or 3 because of this Delta virus wave. It's back so many under-vaccinated places in the Midwest. So I'm hoping that doesn't spell any trouble for, say, Vegas in August. We will do what we have to do. I know it won't be like the full-blown Vegas, and I'm not just talking about the loss of the license. And we've talked about that here on Tuesday. We talk about it in the Portales all the time. I hope that, yeah, I am missing Comic-Con. It is a lost convention. I hope next year it and every other 2020 convention goes on in its regular time slot as scheduled. Everybody gets to do all the fun stuff of the con you're familiar with, wherever it is, whatever it is. But I'm missing Comic-Con in a way I didn't think I would. That's this weekend, and my thoughts are down there and walking around the gas lamp and hanging out with my buds and seeing new people. I always meet new people. New people always join Portal 47, even at Comic-Con. Vegas, yeah. But even at Comic-Con, people find their way to, the Star Trek fans find their way to the Star Trek panels, and not just the big, huge studio ones. Well, a lot of people don't find their way to the Hall H panels. But people can find their way to, we had standing room only. Oh my God, I can't believe this was 2019, the last year we were live, but I was able to have Bob Butler, who directed The Cage. Son brought him down and was just awesome, spellbinding. I wish I could take credit for the moment, but we got him there. But it was a packed room of 400, standing room only, and people were just there for the history, and he was so great. We have it on film. He'd been a guest at Portal 47, I guess, for the 50th anniversary. He was our 50th anniversary year 2 open house guest. That was just an amazing moment I'll never forget. And it would have been good to keep building those kind of moments live, but we had to put that off for a couple of years. But these kind of panels are the next best thing. And I know that's nothing new. We've all gotten used to virtual. We've all gotten used to Zooming. But you can't help but think that way when the regular weekend comes around. I had this feeling with SoonerCon in June for the second year in a row. Fangoers, congoers, and guests are all in the same boat. We have our favorites. We have our regulars. We have the ones we're excited to go to, but maybe it's once in a blue moon, maybe never. But, you love the ones that are your regulars. And when you have your routine and you have your places. That's why I'm hoping Vegas Trek is not a complete shell of what it was. And some of these last-minute rumblings, I hope aren't keeping people home. But the bottom line is to keep people safe. And, wow, if we go through a whole Vegas with masks on, that will be interesting, but we'll see. We'll feel our way there when we get there. Hopefully nothing crazy is going to happen. Hopefully some people start wising up and we flatten the curve, as we said at the very beginning. Even among the folks who've had vaccinations, a lot of people are still carriers for the kids 12 and under, and that's just something too sad to contemplate. Anyway, hey, I promised you 3 parts today, 3 S's. Lost Comic-Con, Space Law, Star Trek, and a store. It's also, third Tuesday. Third Tuesday of the month is usually a 24-hour special that I have. Something in Trekland, something cool. Well, what in Trekland isn't cool? You've heard that we now have a store at T+, right? We've got all the brands are over there, all the brands. That's... But Life Support Live, right. Life Support Live with the drinking game on the back even. Yes. All my things are there. We opened some up last time. TeePublic, it's their sale. I'm going to just piggyback it. So our third Tuesday is something that extends through Sunday. Right now, everything at TeePublic, not just mine, is 35% off. And all one-sided t-shirts are $13. You can go to my store at my page and the link is there, or it's TeePublic/stores/Trekland-shop. I know overseas, guys, we'll get to you. I know it's a hassle. The freight is almost prohibitive. Maybe this sale helps. I don't know. But this is their biggest sale they have for 5 days. And if you're about to think about heading to a con, especially Trek Vegas, now, I'm wearing a Trekwell shirt. Yay! As if you didn't know. We opened some things last week. One thing I'm really proud of also, I call it the hashtag. It's a lot of my big hashtags. This is a long sleeve t-shirt, by the way. Everything's there with Trekwell at the bottom. Okay. Here's the thing, though. I've got some things we've ordered, and I haven't opened them. So you get to be here with me. We're going to do an unbagging and an unboxing. I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it. This is another batch of stuff from my store, Trekland shop at TeePublic. Do I need scissors? I know what this is, but I have not seen them in the flesh. Oh, yeah. This is, some of you have been with me for a while will remember the very first piece of promo, anything, that I did when I first started the blog and the page. Look at this. My oldest, bestest friend, Kevin Hopkins, who did all my original, my MyStar Media. Okay, this is just awesome. This was my idea. He executed it, and there's not a shred of studio photography on this. Are you ready? Don't you love that? This is my Greetings from Trekland postcard. Remember the old the fat letter postcards, greetings from or hello from? Yeah, all my photography. I am so proud of this. I'm so proud of this. This is the tote bag. I think this is the 18-inch tote bag. Isn't that cool? This is the kind of tote bag you can get at TeePublic in 3 different sizes. And then if you see a t-shirt design and they offer it, you can do the tote bag. This is this is also the cream. You know, there's different colors in bag too. This is a cream khaki that I think looks really good with this. Wouldn't that be wonderful for cons though? I think I may use this for utility if I don't mess it up too much. I'm bad about getting commemorative glasses and things and never using them. I still have my K-Bear bar pints from the Brick from Northern Exposure. I am so proud of this. Yay. Got one other thing. Something else to open, even bigger. It's like Christmas, and I am going to use scissors for this. This is a real unboxing, so excited. This is here from TeePublic as well, our Trekland shop at TeePublic. Here we go. There's a variety in here, I think. Ooh, there's another box. Let's see what's in the box. A box and more tape. Hey, we don't stage. We don't. This is for real. Okie dokie, kiddos. Oh, now see, this is just the thing. When we are all allowed to be fully conscionable about jumping around out in the wild again and being able to undo tape, look at this. Yay! Isn't that awesome? It's a Trekland Trucks travel mug. Which I hope the top's in here somewhere. Oh, it is. Yay. You do get a top. Now that's about the most practical thing I can think of. You may have seen some of our live videos where I was out with tour takers and we're dying of thirst until we can get back and get refreshed. Very awesome. Of course, Trekland Treks are your unique custom one day. I haven't been able to talk about this for over a year. But we have over 40 sites on the menu at treklandtreks.com. And you pick out the sites, I work with you, and we do a day trip for site. It's kind of amazing. It's one of the best ideas ever. Not to be confused with the big tour that I also host. These are one days when you were in LA, because that's where most of Star Trek has been filmed over the 55 years. Someday will we have a branch around Toronto? Could be. So I am opening... Here's another box opening today from TeePublic, my store, Trekland-shop. Oh, very well packed. Oh, look at that. Look at that. What better way to wake up in the morning and have your morning coffee with a good thought for the world. Trekwell. I'm very proud of that. Yay! And this is the first coffee mug I'm not a big coffee drinker, but I have this feeling that some folks are. Hey, Idic, I'm all about Idic. So just because I'm not a coffee drinker or even a hot chocolate drinker. Oh, that is so awesome. It matches the shirt. One more bag in this box. It really is like Christmas morning. And the unbagging goes on. It's another bag from TeePublic, from the Trekland-shop. Will I need scissors here or just... Oh, here. It's not with anything. I know it's scintillating. Oh! Looky what we have here. Ha! How about a Trekophiles? Look, it's an iPad or a mini, your laptop. These are laptop bags. But isn't that awesome? I now have signs. These are like also can double as signs. We can use these at the end of the show. It's a twofer. Oh, and here's a Trex. When you're taking your laptop on that rugged day tour around LA, going out to Vasquez Rock or something far more obscure. I love this. And and of course, how about one with a hashtag stack right on your iPhone case? Isn't that awesome? Isn't that awesome? Yay. I am so thrilled with this stuff. Why did it take me so long to get a store going with this kind of situation on demand? Oh, this is so cool. And yes, there is time to get something if you're going to Vegas, you want to grab something beforehand. I'm going to have some of these, but the whole idea of on demand is to not have to have the overhead and the stock, much less the bulk. But I will probably have a couple of things with me at Vegas. Everybody else in our groups will repeat that on Saturday, on Life Support Live on Saturdays. The Portales, you'll hear about it. I'll put it up on our page. I know Vegas will be not nearly the size that it normally is. But if anyone is coming that way, if anything's going to draw people in, it will be that. And hopefully everybody will be doing it the safe way and the legal way. I'm so excited about this. Can you tell? I know it's selling stuff and everything, but it's just so cool to see your things on things. And I know it's something, it's like, well, half of fandom with their Etsy stores and everything else on demand are saying, well, Larry, where have you been for 5 years? I know. Anyway, it's like Saturday morning. I need the big bag for the wrapping paper trash. Hey, that's going to do it. I hope I planted an idea. Hope there's at least one panel besides the CBS, or excuse me, the Paramount Plus panel Friday morning that you're going to be watching for if you catch us 6 Pacific, 9 Eastern. Same place, or just check out LarryNemecek.com for the location. Hopefully you'll be there. If you're a Comic-Con San Diego veteran, we're commiserating here. Or if I've just got you thinking about the cons you've missed out on seeing live, let's, guys, gals, peeps, let's just hang in a little longer. Let's just hang in a little longer. Let's push down this last wave. If they're going ahead with the events live, do whatever you need to do to make it happen. And we will be clear of this eventually. We will be clear. We will be the way we were, only better. Build back better. Meanwhile, I'm going to miss Comic-Con this week in San Diego. Treasure the fact that we have virtuals. Look forward to when we can do something live. Plan for making Vegas as good as it can be. And look forward to seeing maybe some of you there. And if not, then down the line somewhere live. And if not, then we have Tuesdays. We have Tuesdays now and later up on YouTube and Facebook too. So we're going to get through this. We're going to keep having fun, and we're going to keep being inspired by the things that bring us our passion and keep us sane. Oops, now I'm drifting into Life Support Live territory. So everybody, hey, thank you for hanging in. I do want to thank all of our Patreons: Blaze K, Robin Wilson, Lawrence Todd, Anne-Marie Siegel, Blake Arledge, Justin Porteous, and Nathaniel Robinson. Our live wires: Rusty Harrell, Halberd, Gunn Johnson, Jalen Bullock, Gary Williams, Jared Cooper, Mr. Vestek, Robert McLean, and Casey Shafsky. If you want to help out in the Patreon way, it's patreon.com/TreklandLive. I have a very simple Patreon. It's $5 and $10 a month of support for what we're doing here. Always appreciate, if nothing else, a share. Speaking of Vegas, I know the time is short, but outdoors is pretty fine. And outdoors is where we're offering. We need 8 people to make. We're not there yet, but if you are going, don't worry about it being too crowded. We're going out to the Valley of Fire where Kirk died in Generations. We've done this several times before as a one-day tour. You leave early, get back before it's hot. We get back about 2. You have plenty of time to do all your evening events on Con Eve Tuesday. You're not missing the con. You're not missing Creation Star Trek Vegas. This is Tuesday, so you have to get into town a day earlier. Be ready to go with us at 7 in the morning. Right out of the front of the Rio. And with all the questions about what's going to happen to Creation's format and or the Rio especially, I don't know. We don't know what the future holds for doing this or being able to do this, but for sure we're doing it at least this year, especially after the last couple of years went out the window. Check it out at geeknationtours.com. It's the next tour up. There's only 2 up for 2021. And I did mention Live Support Live. We're back. We're back every week. Love to see everybody. If you want to help us pick the theme, make sure you're on our page, our Facebook group page. We'll put up a theme voting poll survey where you can help vote or pick for one you want to see us tackle. An episode, a topic, a character. Doesn't have to be a hardcore mental health diagnosis. There's lots of buggy things of daily life that it's good to air out. And of course, it's good to geek out with Star Trek while you're doing it. That's at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 Eastern, 6 UK time, 7 Central European. Live Support Live, the two doctors. One of us is real. And of course, the Trek Files is back. We've started season 7. This week, we have Susan Sackett, Gene Roddenberry's longtime executive assistant. It's an awesome show. We talked about some very unawesome moments. We've got the paperwork this week is studio politics over paper clips. Well, that's my joke. But also some very awesome, oh, look, I'm in distress. Very awesome next generation brainstorming lunch minutes, which are kind of classic too. They're not out there either. Nothing you've seen today has been on anybody's radar. It's awesome. Go check it out, Trek Files. Of course, it's on Facebook. It's where the documents are. You can like the page. We're there every week unless we're on hiatus. All the Roddenberry podcasts, and it's a growing network, are at podcast.roddenberry.com. Speaking of Roddenberry, it's the centennial year, so Think Trek. Think Trek is the hashtag. Check out their page, the Think Trek page at roddenberry.com. There's 2 or 3, because the pandemic blew a hole in doing much live. There will be a special program at Vegas. I'm sure it'll be videoed and it'll be online hopefully later. But everybody, wherever you are, no matter what's going on, there's a lot of little online and fun things you can do. The hashtag ThinkTrek, BTrek, hashtag CTrek. Check it out. It's what we're doing. Gene's official 100th birthday will be August 19th this year. So, hey, I think the centennial year can be a year either way, don't you? That's why we're offering the Gene Roddenberry, I'm calling it the Great Bird Origins Tour. This is a tour that I'm doing, Trekland Treks is doing. We've tentatively got the weekend for October 16th, 17th. I only need 6 for this to make. We're going to be visiting life venues of Gene's all around, as a child, as a married guy, twice, as places he worked, in TV and movies, and yeah, even LAPD. So and yes, Rod will be involved with us for part of the time. Whatever size group we have is the size vehicle we'll have. So if you're interested, get in touch with me. It's very informal. We have a hotel and a not hotel option on the pricing. So reach out, get in touch with me, Larry at LarryNemecek.com, or even sound off here in the chat. And we'll get in touch, okay? I told you it was going to be a busy day. Did I even get, yes, I did get through everything. So look, YouTube later, I should say, just please check us out, okay? All around Trekland, if you're watching on YouTube, that is my Twitter, just Larry Nemecek. The Facebook handle is Instagram, Larry Nemecek's Trekland. And of course, if you want to take the Trekland approach all year long, like a mini-con that never leaves you, it's right where you are. The virtual world has brought that concept out here in the pandemic, but hey, we were doing it for 5 years ahead of the pandemic. And hey, Trekland and Portal 47 is a lot more than a random virtual panel here and there. We're bringing you voices that major Star Treks that you've likely never heard from or heard from much. Also, we have the great Portales community with our roundtables, things out of my archive. It's great. It really is a mini-con all year long, no matter where your center seat is. Everybody, that's going to do it for me. But for now, if you're watching later on YouTube, stay safe, everybody. Do the things. Remember, viruses don't care about your politics or what you look like. A virus is just a virus. Don't think that's a Forrest Gumpism, but it could be. And hand in hand with that is stay woke. Check your sources, eyes open. Guess what I'm saying is Trek well, everybody.